Welcome back to Super Tuesday Recap. Folks, this is your host Chris and Dpalm here, and we are back to review from fresh off of a little bit of a hiatus, a little bit of a winter break. The Flash Season 5, Episode 10, The Flash and the Furious, while Nora grapples with the revelation that Thawne killed her grandmother, which I'm going to get into that later. I love Thawne. Team Flash must stop a formidable team-up of newly sprung from jail Weather Witch and Silver Ghost, a new meta-tech villain who can control engines and motorized technology. Meanwhile, Caitlin and Cisco discuss creating a meta-human cure. All right, so the first 30 seconds of this episode. You killed my grandmother. Mm-hmm. I did. In front of my father. He was just a kid. Mm-hmm. I love Thawne.
No, you said enough. That's.
I love Thawne. I love him. just.
He's like, but what if I feel bad now?
Right.
He denies none of it.
Wait, here's the thing. Here's the thing.
What if I feel bad?
But that's the thing. If you go back and listen to him, it's not even that he does feel bad. It's like, but what if I do? I'm not saying I do.
No, I'm definitely not saying I do. I'm positing I might.
Perhaps.
What would you say if I did?
Right. You killed. He was just a kid. You killed him. Yeah. It sounds way worse than when it really happened. You know, it's a thing. You know, water on the bridge. Like, to me, it was, come on. You know, I did let you see your father. I did teach you how to time travel. There's something, you know? But, it's very, very clear. Like, I once that happened, I knew what the theme of the entire episode is basically Nora going to find out that maybe criminals can change and I can trust Thawne. And I'm like, not Thawne. Because even when she asked Barry, she was like, even Thawne, and Barry had to give Barry gave that answer you do when you're like a mentor or you're a father or you're something when you want to say hell no, but you're like, I'm trying to teach a lesson, so I'm going to say yeah. Because you don't think that you don't ever think it's possible. You know? Say, would you forgive Thawne? Sure.
See, look, I have a problem with this entire episode. I don't think this is how you come back from break.
Oh no. Wait. Here's the thing. If we're gonna get into that aspect of it, I totally agree. I totally agree.
On its face, like we'll get into the deeper issues of like the thought of it all. But to sideline Barry on the first episode, come back from break, and not like kind of sideline him, but like put him in a cage. Where they added some nice character building stuff with Sherlock or whatever his name's supposed to be, and with Rory's book, which was really funny and good piece of continuity. But like Barry basically isn't in this episode, and I get what you're doing. You're centering the daughter because that's the story they're telling in the larger with the metas, and I understand that like thematically. I just think that the place, like we've talked about this in the past, it's not that the placement of these episodes is questionable, and the placement of this episode for me. As a comeback from a hiatus, as the first CW show to come back from hiatus, not the strongest open.
Oh, it's not. It 100% wasn't. Like it's particularly when we ended with Flash 100, right?
Right before Elseworlds, yeah.
Yeah, because it was right before Elseworlds. So when you end with that strong Flash 100 episode. And again, they open kind of good because you open with Thawne, and you're like, oh shit, this could get serious. But then, like you said, they sideline Barry, and it's just, I think plot wise and story wise, it'll probably fit in, but it makes me a little nervous that one of our complaints last season was that the Flash doesn't handle breaks well. And right. We know that just because of the way CW is running, you know, its episodes, they take a lot of breaks. And the breaks don't always come when you think they are. It'll be like 2 weeks on, then you get another week break for some reason, and then then you're back, and it's just like those breaks can you don't hit the ground running. And I know that sounds like crazy when you're talking about the Flash, but they just don't. They don't hit the ground running. They come in stumbling. Like I said, I was like, okay, cool. We're coming in with some Thawne. We're gonna kind of get into that, and instead I don't know. It just it's fine. But when you look at
that's it. It's fine. I think that on a rewatch, this episode will make a lot more sense. Placement wise.
Well, it's the same thing that happened last season. When we said it last season, it's like, okay, when you rewatch some of this stuff, okay, it makes a little bit more sense. But like you said, when you come back from a month plus long break, you kind of need to make sure you hit us or something that kind of makes us go, oh damn, okay. Even the ending of this, where Weather Witch and Silver Ghost just disappear.
Yeah, but nigga, new rogues.
Oh, no, I'm not gonna lie. I got a little excited when they said Young Rogues. I was like,
yeah, what's my nigga? They know us.
Let's go. I can do this. I'm fine with this. And again, I like little elements of this. It's just where it's placed and how you come back from break. I wasn't thrilled about it. It's like you said. It's fine. It's okay. Nothing necessarily wrong about it. But it's not you guys hit it with some really hard stuff in 100, and then you're also coming off of Elseworlds, because remember, we did episode 100, then you went right into Elseworlds, and then you were like, we're on break.
Yo, by the way, WCW, great decision to end with Elseworlds. That was a good palate cleansing, get us to the break thing. But again, the stumble coming out, like, well, you and I we covered enough of these fucking shows that we're going to talk about all of them. But for the first outing of 2019, color me lukewarm. But let's talk about the episode. You and I have given our opinions of the larger episode. Let's talk about the episode itself, because I think you're right. Like, the Thawne thing is so, and I hate that Iris and everyone spent the entire hour being like, no, Nora, you can trust people. People want to change. Right? Like, the unspoken addendum of, except for fucking Thawne. Like,
I'm waiting for when this all comes to a head and a climax, and Barry goes, I wasn't being honest about that. I was trying to give you a motivation. It's like,
no. The thing is, Barry was being honest. Barry told that nice ass story about Snart. He's reading McCoy's book. Change can happen. There's a massive fucking asterisk. It's Thawne. He came back to kill Barry's mother out of spite. Like, what? Like, I was hoping Nora would learn a lesson, but the entire time I'm like, don't learn it too good, because like, even what she says in the beginning, first seconds, you're 100% right. You killed my grandmother in front of my father.
Like, and just the Tom Cavanaugh playing that role is just so good. You're just like,
he's like, I did not do that.
Right, right. I mean, touche, you did.
I'm not going to argue with you on this point.
But it also gives you this underlying thing too, because we know we have Cicada there, who's actually been a good villain this season. Mm-hmm. But now you got this ticking clock with Thawne going like, is he being put to death? Because I'm like, is he being put to death? Because I'm like, if he's being put to death, Nora, that should have also told you that he can't be reformed. So,
nigga, look, when they showed that ticking clock at the end, I was like, first of all, as a nerd, I appreciate a good ticking clock. Mm-hmm. Second of all, there's only certain things you're counting down to in jail. It's not lunch.
Well, the other thing too is, like, we know technically he can't die here, right?
Yes. That's the thing I came out of this episode thinking about the most, is that his timeline's so fucked up.
Maybe you could.
Like, we don't know which Thawne this is. We don't know which time, because remember, the last time we saw this Thawne was Crisis on Earth X, I believe.
Yeah, you're right.
And he was just like, you know how I do. And we're like, wait, why are you here? He's like, why aren't I here? Like, what are you talking about?
That's what I needed more of. I need a bear to go, I mean, yeah, maybe Thawne could change, but you do need to remember the last time I saw Thawne, he was a fucking Nazi on a Nazi world. Just saying, like, there's a journey here to like, redemption is a journey, and I think that's the part that was missing from there. Yeah, people can change. It takes a little bit of time. It's like what Kevin Hart's finding out right now, where he's going around trying to go like, but no, I'm different. It's like, but you never actually really apologize. Well, I'm done apologizing for not apologizing right now, and I'm not going to talk about it anymore. But you're still talking about it. Like, I feel like it's that kind of thing. It was like, yeah,
Kevin Hart built his own Kobayashi Maru. He cannot win at this point.
Right? No.
But you're right. This. I think that the thing that maybe wasn't communicated effectively to Nora was, you have to have the first desire to change. It's like talking to an addict. Like, any addict, I believe, with the right support system can get better, but you have to have the desire to hit rock bottom, to find the place where you have to be able to want to change.
Right.
Thawne's 51 minutes to death isn't enough for him to want to change. I'm sorry.
like there's also different things. Like Thawne wants something from you right now, so he can't change. What was Weather Witch's real name? It was was it Josh or Jess? Josh.
Joss. It was Joss. I thought Whedon.
Joss. It's like Joss. She doesn't want to be her father, right? And so she feels legit remorse, and you had Cecile feel that legit remorse from her. Like what Barry left off in the whole Mick and Snart thing is, first of all, Snart's dead.
Barry.
Right. So there's that. Snart is dead. And then Mick literally became a villain. Was a villain, became a hero, then became another villain, and then went back to being a hero. Again, it's a journey, and now he's literally going through time where he gets to drink beer and burn things. So it's like he's a hero now and a writer, and like you said, he's found a new passion. So I don't know. I feel like again they were giving her half the lesson here, but I also think that's that's a greater theme for this season is that Nora's learning how to be a hero, and she's making all the mistakes that Barry used to make. You know,
right?
Barry, when Iris said again, they give her, and it's not their fault. This to me is not as given a criticism of the show and how they're writing it. I think it's how things usually go. It's like even when Iris says to Nora, it's like, hey, your father, is known for giving second chances. Talk to him. But what she should have also gone in, sometimes he gives people second chances that he shouldn't, though. And sometimes when he does, it backfires. Like for the first 3 seasons, he kept trusting on Wells only to get lied to. It's
not even the Wells. Remember season 1, Rogue Air?
Mm-hmm.
When he's trying to get the rogues out of the pipeline?
Yep.
And they all turn on him. He's like, I should see that coming. Like, he's learned this lesson over and over again. But the beauty of the Flash and the beauty of the optimism that he brings is that he always wants to give him the chance. And the big flashing neon fucking sign at the end of that is except for Thawne.
Mm-hmm.
And because she's still, and that's why I still don't trust Nora. Like, it's still shady that she's like, it's so funny that Thawne's like, I would have thought your mother would have told you. Like, that in and of itself told me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even in the future, her visits are a sneak. Like, this is her erasing her own files from Gideon.
Yeah.
Like, they're doing a lot of, like, I think that the A plot of this episode was kind of meh, just because I missed having Barry around. But as far as, like, thematically and pushing characters in new places, I think this moved a lot. Cecile, you cannot be a prosecutor if you can feel empathy. Mm-hmm. If you're going to feel the defendants, you're not going to be able to do your job. You're going to get fired.
Mm-hmm.
No Ralph. They didn't mention Ralph, which I thought was weird. He's clearly in next week's episode. They at least lampshaded Joe, who, for those of you guys who don't follow the Flash news, he'll be back episode 15, I believe.
Okay, cool.
Joe West lives.
Good. Well, they also mentioned Wally, too, I think, didn't they? Yeah.
They mentioned that. No, that's how they did it. They said Joe was visiting Wally.
Yeah. So, I mean, I fucks with that. So
yeah, it's a little just a little bit of continuity, but for me, that made the no Ralph mention stand out even more. Mm-hmm. I know. I think we should talk about Caitlin and Cisco in a second.
Oh, you mean Caitlin and Hank McCoy?
Nigga, when I tell you my notes have Hank McCoy circled, I hate you. We do this too much. We're done, guys. We're breaking up the tea.
Not only did I have Hank McCoy, but when Killer Frost came in and blew up his and destroyed his samples, I was like, oh, we about to get a Hank Wolverine fight.
Yeah, what's all that? That was like Astonishing X-Men like 4. Yeah, right? Let's go.
Like I was so ready. I was like, did he really just...
and the bad guy's name is Joss? I was like, okay, it's a lot of shit here, guys. Come on.
I'm like,
Whedon wrote that fight.
I'm just saying, somebody's been reading. Somebody was reading Astonishing over the break, weren't they? Yeah, it's all right. You can say it. But no, I mean, it's. I will say the one thing to get into the Cisco thing, a little bit of it, and when I think back to it, I'm like, I'm okay with it. It did feel like it came a little bit out of nowhere that all of a sudden he's like to the point of wanting to cure himself of vibing. I was like, I don't know.
So I was like you at first, but then I thought about like the things that he's actually given up to do this.
And that's where I was kind of like, you know what, I'll allow it because at first I was like, I don't know about this, but at the end when he had that conversation with Killer Frost, we were just like, yo, I'm not Barry, I'm not like, and I was like, you know what, you got to remember the first time, and I wish they had gone back to this. Like if they had done this, it would have sealed it for me. If he had told us like the first time I found out I had my powers, I saw my own death.
No, first time I had my power. Oh, I guess yeah, because that's true. Because Wells killed in another reality, but yeah,
I mean that right there might maybe go. Yeah, maybe my powers.
This doesn't end well. By the way, Vibe in the comics, he fucking dies. Like that's one of the things why he's a trope in the comics. So him being concerned for dying a stupid way, I was like, I get it.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, you know what? Like when he finally had that conversation, it was like, I get it. You're still being a little McCoy here, but I get it. I understand.
But it's also like McCoy. It's like I've watched my powers directly result in my own death repeatedly. Well, and please get these things the fuck off me.
And in Cisco's defense, Hank McCoy kind of turned himself blue. It was his fault.
Oh, no one! Look, this is not the time for me to make fun of Hank McCoy for 2 hours.
So, I think Lance was on Facebook just like at one point made something about Hank McCoy. I was like, "You're absolutely right. No, Hank McCoy is way worse than everybody."
It's really funny to watch people like, "I'm going to catch up on X-Men," and then all of a sudden, like, "Hank McCoy is trash." I'm like, "Thank you." Welcome.
Yeah. No,
you're catching up. Oh, did he trap the original X-Men in the future for 20 fucking years? Is that what you've gotten to now?
Yeah. No. You do the little, Yeah, it's just fuck him. Yeah. So but I also like what they've done with Caitlin and Killer Frost. Although I've been saying it's like we gotta get her new name. She can't be Killer Frost.
I'm okay with Killer Frost.
She can't. She's like helpful Frost, maybe friendly Frost. She's not Killer Frost no more.
Like the thing is, the code name's not for them.
I know, but I'm just
saying for everybody. Like I need you to know, I'm calling in Killer Frost. Goddammit. Oh, well, hold on. Everybody relax. Not, I'm calling in like moderately helpful, but kind of ornery Frost. Like that's not I don't know. One, but two. Fear inspired.
Ornery Frost might be okay though.
Ornery Frost.
And I will say this: the reason, like in a fight, it works for me, but it doesn't work for me when it's like she's stitching up Cisco. It's like, hold on, let me call him Killer Frost. Like that's not the bedside doctor manners I want.
Let's give Killer Frost a civilian name.
Right. I'm just saying, like Susie. I'm gonna call her Susie.
Let her go by Katie. Let Vanilla Caitlin go by Caitlin.
You know what? That works. Let's
like just give me something that says you're right. It is true. Like when they're having the conversations, like, so what does Killer Frost think about? I don't give a fuck. What? Like you just made this ridiculous. Like, and by the way, I'm talking about someone with split personalities. One of whom has meta powers. Right. I know what I'm saying. But calling her Killer Frost in conversation, it takes you away from it a little bit.
It just does because they're in the middle of having a friendly conversation. All of a sudden, Killer Frost comes like, oh, no, was that Killer Frost having a joke again? It was like, wait, what? Wait, no, Killer Frost doesn't sound like a joke right there. You're not like jokey right here. So I don't know. It was, I'm just saying, we need to give her a civilian name. Like, we just need to.
You're right.
Just help her out. Just help her out a little bit. Also, I love the, one of the more ridiculous things in the movie in this episode was when Iris saw what's her name? What was the name of Ghost Silver Ghost? What was her civilian name?
Oh, I don't actually know.
Rhea. When she saw Rhea's picture, I saw her saluting. Was like, oh, she's definitely military. I was like, well, maybe she's a no-limit soldier. It's like, how do you know she's military because she's saluted? Like,
yeah, maybe she's just an asshole. She's hijacking a military convoy. Like, I would salute too. Like, gotcha, bitch. Like
that was one.
Like, look at the crispness of that. Maybe she said, what if she's DoD? Like, what if she's military? Maybe I get like Iris is very important to the show, but making her make that logical jump was a lot for me.
It was so much for me. I was
Why did it be a question?
I was like, jump to conclusions much? I'm just like,
I'm gonna start saluting in every camera I see. Like, if they ever look for me, I'm like, go to the DoD first. And I'm like, ha, got you, bitches. I got 2 more steps on.
I'm just saying, like, you go on the block somewhere, motherfuckers gonna salute at a time. That he must be a colonel. It's like, what? No.
Cameron is a highly decorated member of the United States military. The Dipset Army. Cash Money is an army, better yet, a navy, as I've been told.
Right. Like, I wonder how does one get recruited into?
So, do you think that what Caitlin and Cisco ended up doing at the end of the episode, I think it's going to be a much bigger problem than we think it is.
Oh, no, it absolutely is because they made their rules. And once you make the rules, then they're going
to be broken.
Right. Once you first of all, once you make rules, they're going to be broken. And two, it's like you've now made the allowance. We're going to agree that we don't use this against anyone who doesn't want it. The first rule of any of that is it's like this point, and I'm starting to hate this trope anywhere else, where the scientist goes, "But I thought we were going to make it for science, not for military applications." Like, motherfucker, have you seen our history as human beings? Anything we do becomes...
The rule of technology is we will find a way to make it the worst because humans are behind it. You know how all streaming video got advanced? Porn. So don't tell me about the benefits of technology outside of the worst things we can do with it. That's why we build it.
Matter of fact, it usually comes from the military application first. Then you get the civilian. Like, we got drones to bomb people. And then we're like, hey, maybe we can deliver your package to your front door this way. Maybe instead of bombs, we can deliver, like, I don't know, your mail. And it's like...
So my dad was one of the first 100 employees at MCI. And so he knows a lot of weird things about tech and like communication stuff. Do you remember that movie with Will Smith?
Enemy of the State?
Yes.
See, I already knew
it came out in like 99 or 2000. Mm-hmm. And my dad watched it and said, they've had that shit since 1982. What?
Yeah.
I was like, excuse me?
Yeah, that's why
it makes you real nervous sometimes.
Well, so that's the thing going around on Facebook when people were doing like the
10-year challenge.
10-year challenge.
And need your pictures,
right? People were going like, "This is how the FBI is going to update their data." I'm like, motherfucker, if the FBI wants you, they have you. All right.
Not to go full off the podcast now, guys, but everyone listening, if we know that they did things like MK Ultra with smaller budgets back then, what do you think is happening now? Do you think they stopped? I don't.
Here's the thing. If your ex from high school can find you, the FBI got you, all right? The FBI got you, right? I'm just saying, like, if the nigga that matched you on Tinder 3 years ago somehow find you, I'm pretty sure some law enforcement agency in the United States has everything on you that they need, all right? I'm just... And that also goes to the idea that somehow you're special enough for them to actually give a fuck.
Right? Let's not get into the ego at all.
Let me just leave it there.
Let's not hurt anyone else's feeling of the first Super Tuesday of 2019.
I see so many people going there through that. It's like, you know what? The FBI probably got to follow me. Like, you're not interesting enough for the FBI.
What do you think you're doing that the FBI would follow?
Yes. The FBI is going through your Instagram photos. Oh, look, she had fish tonight. Put that in the file. It's like, no, nobody gives a shit. But no, you're absolutely right. I absolutely believe that, you know, once you, this is why, you know, I immediately thought that the Hank McCoy thing, it's just the thing. It's like, once it gets created, even if it's not, like, a lot of the things that Hank ends up doing, some of them are definitely his fault, and he calls them directly, but sometimes it's one of those things where it's like he does something and it's like, well, I just did it as a thought exercise. I didn't think anybody would get a hold of it and use it against me. It's like, but yeah, that's what happens.
I need you to watch Fringe. Or not Fringe. You know what? We're going to put Fringe on hold. I need you to watch Dollhouse. I burned through Dollhouse over Christmas break.
I can do Dollhouse.
Dollhouse is 23 episodes, I think, total. It's 2 seasons. Mm-hmm. You can do Dollhouse.
I can do Dollhouse.
And you'll walk away and you will call me. You'll say, well, this nigga is Hank McCoy.
Yeah.
It's 26 episodes of a Hank McCoy a cautionary tale. Because the bottom line is, because we can do it doesn't mean we should do it. Doesn't mean we thought we could control it. And that's what you can watch. I love the fact that, like, everyone watching this is always like, is going to be like, oh, they're going to fuck this up somehow. Because that's how it works. Once technology is made, you can't control who uses it or how it's used. And so what I think is going to be really interesting is to see how that plays into the back half of the season. I will say this, and I think you're right. Cicada's been a great villain so far. And I think that I don't know why you kept him around past 100. And so, like, it felt like a lot of pieces of this episode are moving forward to different places for the next end of the season, which I'm happy about with the second half of the season. It does feel like to me, and maybe I'll be proven wrong next week or subsequent weeks, I'll completely own that on the show. It feels like to me you've told your Cicada story.
So
Do you agree? Am I wrong?
no, I'm kind of with you because, and I think maybe I would feel differently if maybe they had waited a little bit long. And again, I don't think they should have, but if maybe they waited a little bit longer for the Thawne reveal, because now that you revealed Thawne, now I'm like going like, all right, Cicada's been interesting, but we all know Thawne's a real threat here.
Yo, like we're not going to pretend like Thawne's not talking to our the daughter of Barry Allen. Like this is way more intriguing than angry Cicada with a dagger.
Well, when you got the whole thing at the end of this, the teacher at the end of this episode, when you got Sherlock going into the pipeline, and I'm still like for the minute there, like. So I remember before, I don't know what episode we did it on, but I think it was you or maybe somebody in an email brought up what if this Sherlock...
Oh, that was me.
It was,
yeah, and I still believe that. I still don't trust it.
Because when Gideon hit him with the Dr. Wells, I was like, all right, listen, I know he didn't really act to it like that, but I'm just like, I just felt a certain way, and I'm just like, now I'm not trusting you, Sherlock. So now all my attention has gone to this thing with Nora and Thawne and Sherlock now. I'm so intrigued in that. And next week you're going to bring back Cicada. And I'm just like, I kind of don't care. I mean, maybe, and again, maybe next week's episode will take that back from me. But now I'm so invested in what the fuck is that ticking clock for Thawne? What is Thawne really after? Because again, we know Nora doesn't think this. You know, what is Thawne really after? What is his purpose? Like, why would he out of the goodness of his heart, he taught Nora how to go back in time? No. To see her dad and spend time with her dad. Come on, he doesn't do that. Again, remember in episode 100, that Thawne helped Nora. Like, what is it? Something else is going on there. So now I'm invested in that and trying to figure out what that is. And then you're bringing back Cicada, and I'm just like, particularly when we thought that they could have beat him last time. I don't know. I'm worried because this is only episode 11? No, this is actually episode 10, I believe. Let me see what episode this was. Yeah, this is only episode 10. We got 13 more episodes.
Yeah, the break came very early this year. It felt like.
Yeah, and so I don't know, especially when you bring the show back and it's not a Cicada episode. Like, I think maybe they played too much. If they had played this different and maybe gone with another backup Cicada episode, and then eases back into like teases with Thawne at the end of the last episode. And instead of starting this episode with Thawne, go back to dealing with Cicada. So we're wondering, like, if
we're
like,
thirsty for Thawne.
Like, I would even be on some, excess is gone, and not even in the episode, and we're and burying them or dealing with Cicada, and then the following episode we see what happened. Like, what show did I watch? It was, I'm back to watching Future Man. If you have not watched Future Man on Hulu, you should watch Future Man. So I'm watching Future Man season 2.
You have assignments. You can't assign me things.
I don't know what you're talking about. But I'm watching I'm watching Future Man season 2, and that's what they kind of do. They have your three main characters, and the first 3 episodes is focused on those characters and their point of view and what they're dealing with. And eventually, obviously, the 4th episode is going to be them converging in that storyline converging. They could have done that with this, where they come back to this episode and they're dealing with the fallout of trying to find Cicada, dealing with Cicada. In the background, XS and Nora is not there, and then you see in the following episode where she was, and it's her dealing with Thawne and learning this lesson of, well, maybe he can earn my trust back. Which is just like, don't do that.
So what are your feelings about this new Rogues, man? Because I got, like, I know you're like me. I got really excited when she even said it.
No, I'm really excited because and that's why I thought it was a kind of a weird ending, because you're like you thought that Joss was gonna, like, she saved XS, but it seems like she's still also going with, like, that was a weird thing for me too. It's like, okay, you said you didn't want to be your father, and Nora kind of got to you, but then at the same time, you then still left with Rhea So is she gonna be a rogue? Like, what is she?
Well, I think she's like Thawne. She's like excuse me, Snart was the rogue with the code. Like
Mm,
she's like I think she appreciates what Nora did, which is
mm,
why she froze the ground. She
mm-hmm.
didn't want to kill her, but at the same time, she's like, I'm not going to get a true fair shake from you.
True, true.
Which to be fair, Nora pushed her there.
Oh no, she definitely didn't earn that.
Which is a good. I think it's a good play on the great power, great responsibility. Kind of the you create your own villains trope. I thought that was actually pretty deftly handled because while it didn't make it explicitly Nora's fault, you saw where this girl who was on the cusp it can be pulled and pushed in both directions, and Nora pushed a bit too hard too early.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, but no, I'm excited for that because I think we've talked about this before. While I wanted the rogues, we're not going to get that because of what they've done with Legends and Snart being gone and things like that.
Right.
But I fully believe that the Flash needs some kind of rogues, and even the way they set up Rhea here, you kind of see that both right now you have two rogues where they're villains, but Josh was kind of dealing with the fact that her fallout with her father. You have Rhea, who apparently was railroaded by the military, and so you're like, you right now you have two rogues where you're kind of like, I mean, they're villains, but are they really that like super villains like we had before? So it's like you kind of have that, they can develop a code, and so I don't know. I kind of like the idea of, and even if they don't do it the rest of this season, which I hope they don't. I think now when you have Cicada and you still have this Thawne thing going on, you can't fully bring them in. Maybe have them kind of an undercurrent of that kind of forming
a slow build in the background.
A slow build in the background, and then we go into the next season with that. We've talked about this before. We fully believe that the Flash needs some rogues, and I think if whatever form that takes, them having some rogues with a code, I think works. Here's the thing,
even if making them the daughters or like the offspring of the original rogues is pretty cool too.
Right. Even if it's bringing in something like Amunet.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about I love Katie Sackhoff. She's been eating. She to me is basically oh my god, what if they do a whole female rogues?
Let's not jinx it.
I know you're right. Forget I said it.
This never happened.
It never happened. I'm a racist from the podcast. No, man. So like I said, I feel like just the way it came out, it kind of stumbled because it's like I don't think there's a way you come back from break, but I do like the individual pieces that they put in here.
Right.
They're not bad. It's a fine episode, and I think there's definitely setting things up. My bigger concern, like I said, we were brought up is, how you carry this Cicada story on with Thawne in the background, because he's just such a presence.
He's such a presence. And now that you've given us him, I'm always gonna want to go back. I'm always gonna be wondering what's going on with the clock. What is he after? What is he really doing? Like, how is he? What is his real plans here? So I don't know. You got anything else you want to say about this one? No, I'm excited for next week. The preview looked pretty good. Looks like they're going to go back to the Cicada thing, which I don't know. You and I talk about the order of the episodes, but if they're going to nail it, they're going to nail it because I'm invested in these new rogues. I'm invested in Nora's bullshit. I'm invested in Sherlock. I'm invested in Caitlin and Cisco, and I'm curious to see what's going to happen when Barry's not in a cage for an hour.
Yeah, like I said, I'm liking the fact that Sherlock out here is literally doing some detective work. Like, oh, he's just asking questions like, oh yeah, so that time language, is it from the past? Is it from the future? Like, what's going on? I'm impressed by his detective, but at the same time, I'm now also suspicious, and I shouldn't be. But you've made me suspicious of him now. So, all of this is just, I love Tom Cavanaugh. That's a great job. All right, folks. Let me see. We have a couple more weeks. Yeah, you guys literally have 2 more weeks for our next mailbag. So you got some time. If you guys have any questions, send us mailbag at mtrnetwork.net. Arrow is, I think, Monday. Comes back Monday. So next week we'll have 2 episodes. And I think they're moving Arrow to moving the time of Arrow, but it doesn't really change our recording schedule. And then Legends doesn't come back until April, so go figure. But we will have a character corner coming out, a couple character corner coming out this month, and next month we start Captain Marvel character corners. So make sure you subscribe over there at the character corners. Dpalm, we have. I did not push him to this. We have a couple of shows for Dpalm coming out. We have what was it called? The mortgage.
MTR monthly mortgage minute.
Yeah, the
because
MTR
liberation's fun.
Yes. So we have that coming out on this Tuesday. The episode coming out, and then you guys are recording Between Two Palms soon, right?
Right. Between Two Palms. I know I announced it would be out the 18th. I got very sick last week. The jokes at the top of Eobard were not jokes. I was very sick. I still am pretty sick. But we're going to be recording Between Two Palms this week, and it's going to go up the Friday, the next Friday. So that's the 25th.
There you go. So stay tuned for that. So a lot of stuff coming out on the network. Just stay tuned. Thank you guys very much for listening. And until next time, we're out of here. Peace.